The UK is in a deep recession and the worst is yet to come. That's the bleak view from the Governor of the Bank of England, Mervyn King. And he said there was a risk that this recession could be even longer and deeper than expected. The warning came as the unemployment figures reached 1.97 million, the highest level for 12 years. Richard Scott reports.
From manufacturing through houses to shopping, every area of the economy is under pressure. And now we're told the recession could be longer and deeper than expected. The UK's top banker said today that the economy will decline sharply in the first half of this year and that it might get worse than that.
The United Kingdom economy is in a deep recession. The prospects for economic growth and inflation remain unusually uncertain, not least because of the extraordinary events of the past few months. The committee judges that the balance of risks to the path for GDP is very much to the downside.
The warnings about the economy came just as we were digesting the latest jobs figures. Unemployment is now scraping 2 million, the highest it's been since Labour took office in 1997.
I was quite confident about that as well.
Steve Mattox is part of that statistic. He lost his job as an operations manager last year and has struggled to find work since.
I've applied for well over 300 jobs. I've had some callbacks for more information or to come in and see the agency that were putting the job there, but as of yet, not a single interview.
At this job centre in Birmingham this morning, people were eager to get in as soon as the doors opened.
It's very daunting because I come here every day just to find out what kind of positions are available. But there are jobs there, but you have to travel out to your local area. A lot of people sort of moan that there's no jobs and stuff, but you've got to get out there and look.
The Prime Minister has been keen to point out that there are still around 500,000 vacancies in the economy. The problem, though, is that there are far more people than that who want those jobs. And actually, the number of vacancies has dropped by more than 200,000 just over the last year. This morning, the Prime Minister met some of the UK's biggest employers to try to improve the job situation. But union leaders want more direct help.
Well, I think the prospects are very gloomy and there's no disguising that. That's why it's important that the government does everything it possibly can to minimise the damage.
With the recession continuing to be felt across different industries, the Bank of England is likely to have to take further action. That could mean more interest rate cuts, as well as injections of cash into the economy. Richard Scott, BBC News.
Our economics editor Stephanie Flanders is here. I mean, this is the bleakest outlook we've had so far from the Governor of the Bank of England.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst forecast the Bank of England has given, and what he's looking at is particularly this sharp decline in the middle of this year, that, as you said, we're not over the worst. But I should say, he said the risks were on the downside in the sense that things could be worse than even the bank is expecting now, because all of these efforts by governments, not just here, but all over the world, could not be as successful as they're hoping. But he did think there was a lot of stimulus already in train, and he did think the economy was going to pick up by the end of the year.
But indications too that we could even see lower interest rates, which is extraordinary. It's hardly possible now, is it?
Yes, looking at the inflation forecast, it looks like they will have to do more, and as he pointed out, they can't go lower than zero. And we had a lot more details today on how they would go beyond that with what's known as quantitative easing, or printing money.
Which means what?
Well, if you're the central bank, you can actually just create money with the flash of a pen. What they would do is they'd create money and they'd go out and spend it. And what they usually spend it on is they buy up assets from, like government bonds, from banks. Now, the banks have extra cash. You hope that they'll lend them on to people, and that money will get into the broader economy, and eventually the economy will pick up. The Governor said today, we do have the means to get through this and to make sure that the economy recovers. We don't know how long it will take.
Stephanie Flanders, thank you very much.